Happy Tuesday, guys. How are you all? I miss seeing your faces so much. I've been keeping up with a lot of you all on Facebook, and you have sent Miss Downy pictures and all the fun things that you did over spring break. I hope you all enjoyed your break. We've started back on our week 4 now. So you're working on writing this week. In your writing packets, you have several prompts, and I'm encouraging you all to really go in and add details to your writing. Don't just simply answer the question. You know how Miss Downy is. I want you to put a lot of work into it. So work on including more details in your writing and kind of pushing yourself to do more. As you can see, it's getting harder for Miss Downy to scoot up to her table, just because you all ask so much, because I know you all love her and you can't wait to meet her just as much as I can. Miss Emmy, so Miss Downy's going to the doctor a lot more now, which means that Emmy's arrival is coming quick. She should be here in about 6 weeks. So the normal time of when we would be getting out of school is probably when Emmy is going to arrive. She weighs almost 6 pounds. If you have a 5-pound bag of potatoes in your house, pick that up and add a pound. That's how much Emmy's weighing right now. So she's a big girl, but we're healthy and we're staying at home, and we hope that you're doing the same, okay? We're going to start a new chapter book this week. Miss Downy will try her best to make a video every day, but like I said, I'm having to go to the doctors a lot, and in the afternoon, sometimes I get a little busy, but Miss Downy will try her absolute best to get these to you, okay? This is one of my favorite chapter books. Love it. Love the movie, but I love reading the book, and it is Charlotte's Web. Some of you all may have already heard this story. You may have already read this story, but I love Charlotte's Web. So this is a thicker chapter book. So it might take us a little bit more time than what Peter Rabbit did, and that's fine. But this is Charlotte's Web. That's the title. It is written by E.B. White. So E.B. White is my author, and Garth Williams is who drew my picture. So that person is the illustrator. Since this is a chapter book, it has a text feature in it. It has a table of contents. And we know that the table of contents tells us the names of the chapters, sometimes how many chapters there are, like this one it's numbered, and what page they start on, okay? So our first chapter is called Before Breakfast. Pay attention to what characters are introduced in this chapter, which are who are the people or the animals in the story, and pay attention and try to figure out the setting, which is where the story takes place. Now, unlike Peter Rabbit, this book does not have a picture on every page, and that's okay. So you're probably going to have to do a lot more listening, and I will show the picture when there is one, okay? So we're going to read chapter 1 today, Before Breakfast. "Where's Papa going with that axe?" said Fern to her mother as they were setting the table for breakfast. "Out to the hog house," replied Mrs. Abril. "Some pigs were born last night." "I don't see why he needs an axe," continued Fern, who was only 8 years old. "Well," said her mother, "one of the pigs is a runt. It's very small and weak, and it will never amount to anything. So your father has decided to do away with it." "Do away with it?" shrieked Fern. "You mean kill it? Just because it's smaller than the others?" Mrs. Abril put a pitcher of cream on the table. "Don't yell, Fern," she said. "Your father is right. The pig would probably die anyways." Fern pushed a chair out of the way and ran outdoors. The grass was wet and the earth smelled of springtime. Fern's sneakers were sopping by the time she caught up with her father. The word sopping means really wet. "Please don't kill it," she sobbed. "It's unfair." Mr. Abril stopped walking. "Fern," he said gently, "you will have to learn to control yourself." "Control myself?" yelled Fern. "This is a matter of life and death, and you talk about controlling myself?" Tears ran down her cheeks as she took the axe and tried to pull it out of her father's hand. "Fern," said Mr. Abril, "I know more about raising a litter of pigs than you do. A weakling makes trouble. Now run along." "But it's unfair," cried Fern. "The pig couldn't help being born small, could it? If I had been very small at birth, would you have killed me? Mr. April smiled. Certainly not, he said, looking down at his daughter with love. But this is different. A little girl is one thing, a little runty pig is another. I see no difference, replied Fern, still hanging on to the axe. This is the most terrible case of injustice I have ever heard of. A look came over John April's face. He seemed almost ready to cry himself. All right, he said, you go back to the house and I will bring the runt when I come in. I'll let you start it on a bottle like a baby. Then you'll see what trouble a pig can be. When Mr. April returned to the house half an hour later, he carried a carton under his arm. Fern was upstairs changing her sneakers. The kitchen table was set for breakfast and the room smelled of coffee, bacon, damp plaster, and wood smoke from the stove. Put it on her chair, said Mrs. April. Mr. April set the carton down at Fern's place. Then he walked into the sink and washed his hands and dried them on the roller towel. So here's an illustration of Fern and her father. Now, tomorrow we'll catch back up. Do you think that Fern is going to be able to raise this baby pig? Miss Downey's never raised a baby herself, but I did grow up on a farm, and I know that baby animals are a lot of work. So we'll see what happens. See you tomorrow.